With this prayer, I pray to Almighty God that each and everyone gets good health, wealth, and prosperity in his life. I welcome you all in this international webinar, Role of Science and Technology for Developing Self-Dependent India, which is being organized by Department of Chemistry, Faculty of Science. Janardhan Rai Nagar, Rajasthan Vidyapeeth, deemed to be University, Udaipur, Rajasthan, in association with Indian Chemical Society, Kolkata, West Bengal. Good morning, Suprabhat. Due to lockdown, although we could not arrange the seminar at our university, but it is well said that if there is a will, there is a way. And this online facility has given us this opportunity to attend this webinar from our own places. First of all, I heartily welcome all the eminent guests for their benign presence in this webinar. I welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Colonel S.S. Sarang Devot, to preside this inaugural session. I welcome Padma Shri awardee Professor G.D. Yadav, Chief Guest and invited speaker of this function. He is the President of Indian Chemical Society and elected last year. I heartily congratulate Professor Yadav sir and hope that the society will flourish under his patronage. I welcome Professor Suresh Amita, former President of Indian Chemical Society, as guest of honor. I also welcome Professor D.C. Mukherjee, who also served the society for a long time and also hold the coveted position of President of Indian Chemical Society. I heartily welcome Professor Nishit C. Desai from Bhavnagar as a special guest and invited speaker. I welcome Professor Chitranjan Sinha, present Secretary of the Society, who is serving at Jadavpur University, Kolkata. I welcome all the participants from over the country and abroad too. Our beloved nation, Bharat, India was known as Vishwaguru in ancient time, having extraordinary knowledge in different areas when foreign countries were not even in their initial stage of development. Our saints used to worship not only God, but humans, animals, and nature too. They were well aware about the importance of the balance between our life and nature. With the development in different areas, we start forgetting about this balance. The present scene of pandemic coronavirus in the form of COVID-19 taught us this lesson again. It is assumed that this virus is spread from China to all over the globe and the situation is still uncontrolled. We have to take care and follow the government instructions sincerely until we get its vaccine or medicine. Many of the countries are blaming China for this threat and they are shifting their business from China. This is the time for India to attract those investors. In the leadership of our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, Indian government has launched the scheme of self-dependent India, that is Atmanirbhar Bharat, which will provide a platform to many of the Indian business persons to grab this opportunity and provide employment to many Indian persons and contribute to nation by supporting Indian economy too. Yesterday, our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji has given 5 I's, that is intent, inclusion, investment, infrastructure, and innovation as 5 major pillars for Atmanirbhar Bharat. And here is the major role of science and technology in innovation. We cannot ignore the contribution of science and technology in our life. Looking to their importance, we planned to organize this international webinar on role of science and technology for developing self-dependent India. We hope that all the participants will find this webinar fruitful. I am glad to share that more than 700 participants have registered for this webinar. We have received response of participants from most of the states of India and some of the foreign countries too. I am very much thankful to all the participants for their keen interest and active participation, which will make this event a grand success. Once again, I welcome you all in this webinar. With this humble request that all the participants please switch off their audio and video so that the technical sessions will run smoothly. Now, because our Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Colonel S.S. Sarangdev has to attend another important meeting, so I invite him for his presidential address first. Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Rashid. Welcome and good morning, all of you, on the occasion of International Webinar on the Role of Science and Technology for Developing Self-Dependent India. We are blessed to have international repute eminent speakers like Padma Shri Professor G.D. Yadav Saab. He is the chief guest and keynote speaker of today's program. He is presently he is the president of Indian Chemistry Society. I welcome Venerable Professor Suresh C. Ameta, guest of honor, and he is the former president Indian Chemical Society. Honorable Professor D.C. Mukherjee, guest of honor. Respected Professor Nishit C. Desai, special guest and speakers. Respectable Professor C.R. Sinha, special guest of this today's program. And Dr. Rakshit Ameta is the director of Faculty of Science of our university. Dr. Tarun Shrimali, director R&D, and Dr. Chandra Chatlani, technical coordinator, and all faculty members, speakers, and participants. It is indeed a matter of great delight and privilege for me to be here this morning among you. The theme of national webinar is very, very relevant in these days. We need to understand that self-dependent is a word. What is too longer context? It means to produce its own needs in all the sectors. Recently, our Prime Minister, as earlier Dr. Rashid mentioned it, our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi ji, has focused on self-reliant strengthening India, and self-reliance would be founded on the following 5 pillars: economy, infrastructure, need technology-driven self-reliance system, demography, demand. India has changed a calamity into the opportunity. That means crisis into opportunity. COVID-19 crisis has taught us the importance of local manufacturing, local market, local supply chain system. All our demand during the crisis were met to locally. Now it is a time to be vocal about local product and help these local products become global. So every Indian must become vocal for local. Now, if we want to do this, there were need to play great role by science and technology for developing self-dependent India. Science and technology have been an integral part of Indian civilization and culture over the past several millennia. There were several developments in the different branches of science in the ancient period. India has a rich inheritance of science and technology. Scientific development in India is old as practice from the ancient Indus Valley civilization to the present day. Scientific and technological progress in India has flourished. Today, India is among the topmost countries in the world in the field of research. Positioned as on the top 5 nations in the field of space exploration. We are number 3 in the world in the number of scientific and engineering publications, and also the number in 3 in many cutting-edge fields like sciences and material science, or scientific human resources, who are among the best in the world. Technology has created an ideal niche for the overall growth and the economic condition of the country. Knowledge has become a source of economic strength and power. Science and technology have unparalleled impact on economic development and social progress. At present, India holds a strong position in terms of advanced technology. India also serves as a knowledge warehouse with the existence of the many institutions catering to science and technology, which come with qualified and trained manpower. So there are some areas of development where we have to discuss which undergo development in science and technology, like higher education, scientific research and development, technological development, advancement agriculture systems, development of science and technology, development of infrastructure, information and communication technology, development of various fields of engineering, including software, chemical, mechanical, civil, electrical, electronics, etc. So we are learning and experiencing new lessons from COVID-19 pandemic. One lesson is that science does not know everything, but it knows a lot more than common sense and traditions believe. It is science that will help us through with symptomatic treatment, tracking, coordinating and communication technology, physical distancing and proper hygiene practice, and vaccines. So I believe that this webinar will have a fruitful discussion about the theme and sub-theme. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words and blessings. Now, I invite Professor Suresh Ameta, former president of Indian Chemical Society and professor of chemistry, Bahar University, Jaipur, for his kind words. Professor Ameta, sir.
Valued colleagues, invited speakers, and dear participants. First of all, I congratulate to the organizers of this webinar for choosing such a relevant topic, which is a need of the day. The whole globe is facing pandemic due to COVID-19, and in this year, it is likely that the industries of developing countries from China are to be shifted to a proper place where they can survive better. In this context, world is looking for an alternate and safe location where India can come forward to accept this responsibility. At present, our country has not only proved self-sustained in the production of hydroxychloroquine, but has also helped several nations who have requested for the supply of this drug. This is sufficient proof that we have enough capability to do it if determined strongly, as we already have the desired talent and resources, but Indian intellect has been utilized by many developed countries for their own benefit, and that has caused a brain drain. Now is the right moment when we can bring back our talent through reverse brain drain. This will empower our countries to occupy a prominent place in the world. I presume that India will not only be self-dependent in years to come, but many other countries will look forward towards it for their own development. I wish this webinar a grand success and hope that this university will organize such seminar in future also. I am thankful that you have remembered me on this occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Ameta, for your kind words and blessings. Now I invite Professor D.C. Mukherjee for his blessings. Professor D.C. Mukherjee.
Thank you. Professor A.S. Tarange, Professor G.D. Jadov, Professor S.C. Ameta, Professor N.C. Desai, Professor C.R. Sinha, Professor Rakshit Ameta, dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, please accept my greetings. I am thankful to Dr. Rakshit Ameta for organizing this which is extremely necessary at this crucial time. I am happy to see that our respected and renowned educationist, Padma Shri Professor Yadav, and respected Professor N.C. Desai of the Indian Chemical Society will be delivering these inspiring speeches to the participants. We all have realized during the last few decades that frequent fruitful interaction between scientists working in the field of basic science and in the field of application would be essential for the survival of humanity. Today, the entire civilization is facing a grave crisis. I'm sure that the deliberations in this webinar will inspire the participants to take up new challenges, and they would be able to dedicate their erudition for the cause of the millions of suffering humanity. With these words, I wish the seminar a grand success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Mukherjee, for your kind blessings. Now, this is the time for which we all are awaiting to listen Professor G.D. Yadav. Before Professor Yadav started delivering his invited lecture, I would like to have his
We are not hearing you.
Hello. Yeah. So now this is the time for which we all are awaiting to listen Professor G.D. Yadav. Although Professor Yadav needs no introduction because he is such a giant personality in the field of chemical sciences that introducing him is just like that showing a lamp to the sun. But for the information of the participants, I would like to have brief information details of Professor Yadav sir. Professor G.D. Yadav, he is the awardee of Padma Shri in year 2016. Presently, he is serving as Emeritus Professor of Eminence at J.C. Bose National Fellow, Government of India. He has served as former Vice Chancellor and R.T. Modi Distinguished Professor and Tata Chemicals Darbari Seth Distinguished Professor of Innovation and Leadership, Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai. Professor Yadav has served as the adjunct professor at
म्यूट हो गया है।
You have muted yourself. The host should unmute him. Dr. Ameta, you should unmute yourself.
Hello. I now request Professor Yadav, sir, to deliver his invited talk.
Yeah, I want to share my slides. Okay.
Yes, sir. Sure.
So I hope I'll be able to do it. Where is that sharing of slides? Can I share my slides? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, please. आवाज आ रही सर? Yes,
Yeah,
please.
how do I share my slides? I don't see the option here.
Sir, there is an option of presented view, present now.
Where? On the screen?
On the screen at the right, bottom right.
Bottom right, settings, is it? Turn caption, full screen, change layout. There is nothing more than that.
No, there is an option actually. No, not on settings, sir. You can see 3 dots over there at the bottom right.
Oh, yeah, 3 dot. Yes, I see that.
So just at the left side of the 3 dots, you can see there is option of present now.
Present now. Okay, that
Yes,
one.
sir.
So
Yeah,
you are in
now,
screen.
yes, sir. Now you can present any of your window. So just click on a window and then select.
Okay.
Then select the PowerPoint presentation.
No, I see. This is unfortunately doesn't allow me to. Let me see. Let me check.
Just click on a window. After present view, you need to click on a window, then select a window of PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay, here I see present now.
Yeah.
Then a window, right?
Yes, sir.
But then that share doesn't come. It does not allow that share is not active.
Sir,
there is a button, there is a video button, share.
No. Share will active only when you click on a window which are displaying just above that share button.
1 minute. I'll do it.
You can see a list of windows over there.
1 minute. I think there is some present now. I see a window and before there your entire screen. That's it.
Yeah. Yes,
entire screen. I should say the entire screen.
No, click on a window, sir.
Window. Okay. Then.
Yeah. Then you can see a list of windows.
Two windows I see.
In the form of icons. One of the window from these windows that will be of your PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, now okay.
Yes, it is started. It is started.
It is started, no? Okay.
It is started. Now click on your.
Now started.
Okay. Thank you. Just 1 minute.
Yeah.
Can you see right now?
No,
there is nothing. No.
Oh God, something. I did a mistake. Let me do it again. 1 minute. There was something, but then.
Yes.
Now is it seen? Is it seen?
Yes.
Yes, it is started, sir. You are presenting to everyone, but
nothing is coming.
No, is it coming now? Is it coming? Can you see the screen?
No, sir. PowerPoint presentation is not started yet.
No, but it is on actually. Let me redo it actually. Let me redo it because I think it is there, but somehow your screen is visible to others. Click resume presentation. Is it there now?
Yes, it is started presenting.
Okay. Thank you. I think I can present now. Is it there? Is it there?
No, sir. Only a blank screen is coming. Just sir, please start your presentation. We'll see it. Please start your presentation.
I started. Do you see my screen?
No, sir. It is just only blank screen is coming over here.
No, does it come? I see screen on my desk. There is something missing. Should I restart it or what?
Please do it, sir. Just please do for presentation. Present now.
I will say stop sharing and then again I will do it. Okay.
हाँ.
Okay. Let me do it. Present now a window. Okay, and there is one window and share. Can you see it now?
Select a window. No, just a minute. Yes, sir. It is started now. No.
It started, no? Can you see the screen?
No, sir. It is only a blank white screen is appearing.
No, I don't know. See, I see. It is strange actually. I say from the beginning. I say, and then when I go down, 1 minute. Let me once again. I do it.
Yes. Sir.
There is some technological problem. I don't know what is it. Okay, I see this. You are presenting to everyone. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, it is. It is showing, sir.
It is showing.
Yes.
Now it is showing. My screen is shown.
Yes, your screen is showing, sir. Your screen of this Google Meet is showing, sir.
No.
Don't go for stop presenting, sir. Just go to your PowerPoint presentation.
When I go, then it becomes blank. When I go to PowerPoint, it becomes blank. I think it is not picking.
What are you sharing? Sir, you are what are you sharing? You might be sharing a Chrome window, sir. Might be, sir. But don't. Yes.
No, I am sharing from. Actually, I am sharing from Edge. Should I use Chrome?
No. It doesn't require, sir. Chrome is not required. Just start, sir. You are present, sir. Hello.
But see, to go to the next slide, when I go to my slide presentation, you say it is blank.
Yes, actually, what is happening, sir? What are you are saying? It is just typing on the.
I know it is typing. So what do I do? How do I do it? Is there a way?
Yes, sir. There is a way, sir. There is a way. Just stop presenting, sir. Just go below.
Stop presenting. Okay. And it is picking up my voice here. How do I solve this problem?
No, it is not a problem, sir.
No, but you say you can't see the presentation. No,
just go for present now. Then click on a window.
Wait a minute. No, this right now it is picking up my signal. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Where now this is the turn off caption. Where is that? Is gone actually. That present window. Bharat Singh is presenting something. That is gone. Actually, what you said, na, present now, that is gone.
Just restart, sir. Just refresh your window.
What should I refresh?
Refresh window of Google Meet from the edge.
1 minute.
Yes, sir.
Refresh. Okay, I did. Are you able to see me now?
Yes, sir.
Now, when I say present now, a window.
Yeah, window. Just select the window.
Okay. Now I share the window. Is it coming?
Just a minute. Yes, sir. We can able to see that, sir. Yes.
Now, okay. I'm so sorry for this mishap. Okay. When technology has its own advantage and disadvantage as well. So, so I start. It is 12:15. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Professor S.S. Sarang Devot, the Vice Chancellor of JRN Rajasthan Vidyapit University, Professor Suresh Mehta, the former president of Indian Chemical Society, Professor D.C. Mukherjee, also former president of Indian Chemical Society, Professor C.R. Sinha, the honorary secretary of Indian Chemical Society, and the webinar chairman, Dr. Rakshit Mehta, who has taken a lot of trouble in organizing this webinar. Dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, I am indeed very happy to make this presentation to you. Perhaps you know that Mumbai is being lashed by a cyclone, and I was wondering yesterday whether this will and there would be problems, but luckily it is not there. It had just begun. So I'm going to make you some provocative comments and also how India can become a superpower. And my personal belief is it is science and technology, advances in science and technology that will catapult India to be among the league of superpowers. So why do we say that? The COVID-19 has affected the entire world. Nobody would believe that it is a great leveler. The mighty, the super rich, the poor, and the marginal, everybody is affected by COVID-19. And the impact is on economy. And economy in terms of various things. While we know that it has affected transport business, it has affected science and technology, education, it has affected media, it has affected sports, it has affected entertainment and whatnot. We know that COVID has affected everybody, and that is why the world is in the form of some sort of topsy-turvy. So this is where we should remember that we have to get up like the eagles do. And we must also look at our past, what we did. Celebrate your success and stand strong when adversity hits, and the COVID has hit us. For when the storm comes in, the eagles soar while the small birds take cover. So is India an eagle? So-called Atmanirbhar Bharat, what our Honorable Prime Minister is saying, and he said we should be self-reliant. And that is the theme of this webinar. So I'm very happy that the theme was conceived by this university and this webinar is organized. So what do you hear daily these days? Because, you know, this is lockdown. We also hear the problems of migrants, and sometimes we worry what is happening to our country. Then there are a number of deaths due to COVID. We also hear the statistics on recovery, and then also the worrying factor is corona positive cases. Because I live in Mumbai, I know how difficult it is. This city is hard hit. Then we also hear news about vaccine development. We say some therapeutic should be available. And these names which you hear, that remdesivir or lopanavir, ritonavir, are a combination of these with interferon, beta-1A, and chloroquine or hydrochloroquine. These words are becoming now a common vocabulary. Then we hear about personal protection equipment like hand sanitizers, drugs and medicines, masks. We also look at plastic again to wrap food, then ventilators, social distancing, essential industries, health workers and their safety. These all we hear. And all of these are based on materials. What sort of those materials? Believe me, many people do not know that all these are chemicals and the materials derived therefrom. But that word chemical is a taboo. Another thing which we read, if you have access to newspapers, is energy, water, food, affordable healthcare, environment, carbon footprint, industry and infrastructure, sustainable development, GDP, and we are worried that our GDP will go down substantially because of this corona. In other words, we have a new Trinity. And that new Trinity is like Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, change, challenge, and opportunity. This is what we have to see. Never before have so many compelling technological problems have occupied positions of prominence in our system of values. Every moment something happens unexpectedly, posing a new challenge. Corona changed everything. The way we think and behave, the fear of unknown and uncertain future in every human activity. That is what Corona has done to us. So let me ask you this simple question. How did you begin your day today? You must have used some toothpaste, some mouthwash, or something of that sort, or for that matter, your favorite toy, the mobile phone. You can't imagine life because of without these gadgetries. So what are they? So I'm going to pose another question to you. Can you show any three man-made materials or products without the use of chemicals? Look at your office, the chairs, the computers, the dresses, whatever you wear, or the house, the rooftop, the windows, whatnot. Well, since this seminar is organized by this Janardhan Rai Nagar Rajasthan Vidyapit, whatever you see in this picture, can you think of any of these things without use of chemicals? Or for that matter, there is a prize of 100 million pounds waiting for anybody. This prize has been declared in 2008 to show any three man-made materials or products without the use of chemicals. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing, none exists. However, we do not give credit to chemicals or the chemical industry. So life without chemicals is not possible. From dawn to dusk, cradle to crematorium or burial ground, air, water, and land, even in our dreams, we live in a wonderful world of chemicals and materials and the molecules, materials derived from them without realizing it. So there is no life conceivable without them. Instant gratification, instant communication, all are dependent on chemicals and chemical products. Let us revisit some of the aspects of human history. Human history is not that long. It is only 70,000 years. And agriculture started some 30,000 years ago. And the domestication of animals thereafter. And people started migrating in search of food. And they started making tools. And that was because of cognitive abilities of humans. So if you see this picture, it tells you how the wheel changed the whole civilization. Combination of wheels and the materials which were used. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, engineering always comes first and science much later because we try to understand the basics. So this is what has happened. So when you look at the human population, we have to go to a particular year, that is around 1000 AD. There was a bubonic plague. Almost 70% of population in Europe died. We hear about the plague, the Spanish plague of 1918, where a lot of people died. But remember, the year 1856, all of a sudden we find there is a population rise and there is a dramatic, steep rise in population. And we do not know what would be the population in the year 2100. How did it happen? And is this population going to be, and the progress going to be sustainable in future? How are we going to feed this population? How are you going to provide the shelter for them, and what will be their energy needs? Can it be done without the help of science and technology? Can we do that? The answer is simply no. So let me provide a picture to you of William Perkins and his dye mouth. Now he had gone to produce something else and he ended up making mouth, and that was for malaria. Are you? Hello? So you see that seeing the fruits of his imagination and labor in pleasure and fame, William Perkins is given credit for the genesis of organic chemical industry. Will you please stop this noise? And its profound impact on civilization, and that is why year 1856 is the one which made it all possible. So in the year 1999, the engineering Academy of the United States came up with very interesting aspects. This is called grand challenges for engineering. And what are those challenges for sustainability? Make solar energy economical. And we see that India is now the leader of this solar energy, the alliance. Managing the nitrogen cycle, advancing health informatics, prevent nuclear terror, advancing, learning, provide energy from fusion, provide access to clean water, develop carbon sequestration methods, because the greenhouse gas emissions is going to be a very huge problem for us. And as you are already aware that the so-called Paris Accord or the Paris Agreement says that we should not, allow the temperature of the globe to increase beyond 1.5 degrees Celsius. Restoring and improving urban infrastructure. Reverse engineer the brain. If we understand our brain, can we reverse engineer to remove many of these diseases? Securing cyberspace is another big problem for us, and enhancing virtual reality. And all this has been possible because of, our engineering the tools of scientific discovery. These are the challenges. So India also faces all these challenges in the today's world. There is some problem. I'm trying to, okay. So this is where we should look at the sustainable development goals of United Nations. What is the first goal? Poverty, removing poverty by the year 2030. No hunger by the year 2030. Good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequality, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institutions, and partnership for the goals. These are, so if you look at these goals, we can group them. The first two, poverty and hunger. The next you can see, we can group all other things. And the third is this. None of these is possible without input of science and technology. We have to produce more from less land because the cultivable land is going down day by day. We have to ensure that we don't waste food. And one part of the world, there is a wastage of food, and another part of the world, there are people dying of hunger. So if we look at today's situation of the COVID, what are the solutions? So we have to look at structures and efficacies of existing small molecules. We have to look at the patient DNA, RNA, protein, metabolite profiles. We have to look at clinical trial efficacy, and adverse events information. We have to look at artificial intelligence. You can imagine many of these things, this knowledge from various disciplines will be required to find out solutions for the COVID problem. In this world, since I already mentioned to you that various materials are produced, and what are those materials where we can use smart chemistry? We have the regular materials, we have the functional materials, very smart materials, okay, and also we have the engineering materials. These materials are produced because we want to see a better future. We don't want to waste materials, we want to reuse them. And this is where the beauty and charm of chemistry comes, because this seminar is organized by chemistry department. And since I deal with chemical sciences and engineering, I thought I should also bring to the fore what is the beauty and charm of chemistry. The attributes that perhaps most distinguishes chemistry from the rest of the sciences is the ability of chemists, the smart chemists at that, to control the structure and matter at molecular level, from complex natural products like vancomycin to nanoparticles and bone genomes. Remember, so genomes also becomes part of chemistry. And there is a change, dramatic change or paradigm shift in chemistry of today. So chemistry has moved from structure to function, and it is shifting increasingly to function. And chemists will require to develop better strategies to efficiently generate molecules and systems of molecules with desired physical, chemical, or biological properties in order to meet the biomedical, energy, and environmental needs of the future. And remember, we are 1.35 billion people. Our needs are going to be great. And since we also say that we should produce in India and abandon the Chinese goods, this is the time where we can do this. And this is also another aspect which we must understand is the nature's chemical factories. And what are they? The living organisms carry out a remarkable array of complex functions using natural molecules and molecular assemblies ranging from antibiotics and enzymes to the ribosome and photosynthetic centers. So this is where I want to show how chemical and allied industry has contributed to the modern society in terms of fuels, energy, materials, basic needs, luxury, comfort, and quality of life. On the left-hand side, we have a very few raw materials. And from the raw materials, we go to the next level, that is commodity chemicals. And then we go to the secondary commodity chemicals. And then we also go to the intermediates. Intermediates, a lot of intermediates are purchased from China because they are cheap. And sometimes we wonder how they are making it, because the cost of the intermediates sometimes is cheaper than the raw materials which we use in India. So these intermediates and the final products, whether they are textiles, shape and food supply, transport, housing, recreation or entertainment, communications, health and hygiene, you name it. All these things are based on simple chemistry and chemical products. And therefore, India can make many of these things and should not depend on China. This is where I also would like to say something very important and radical. The ban on single-use plastic by Government of India should be suspended immediately, because plastic was invented as a substitute for paper. Paper denudes forests. It consumes more than 1.5 tons of chemicals per ton of paper. Glass is very expensive and polluting, very heavy. So paper, glass or Tetra Pak, even Tetra Pak is composed of metal, plastic and paper. So the problem of recyclability there. And in case of plastics, there is a solution that is recycle, reuse, reprocessing, repolymerization. This is what I believe, because right now from Corona will be saved by plastics, single-use plastic, which we'll be using. Whether we want to wrap our vegetables, clean them, or make these masks, what are you going to do that? Well, ladies and gentlemen, in today's situation, it is difficult to predict the future. And the future is not extension of today. Nobody, no fortune teller told you last year that we will be having this kind of situation today. In fact, sometimes I'm amused. People are still publishing the astrological columns. Nowhere they mention of Corona or its effect. It is general thing. What does it mean? Future prediction is highly dangerous. So on one hand, we have to deal with molecules, we have to deal with conversion of molecules, transfer of that into some utility product. So the uncertainty in prediction due to unforeseen circumstances like the Corona and the unbelievable scientific and technological advances which are made. See, even otherwise, to develop a vaccine, it takes anywhere between 5, 10 years, 15 years. Now we are thinking that we should advance it in less than a year or 18 months. You can imagine. Human mind is ingenious and human mind can overcome all obstacles of this kind. And sometimes we imagine which is more real than the wild imagination. And this is where there would be a confluence and chemistry and biology. So if you want to predict future pharma industry, is it possible? Because we are dealing with all sorts of therapeutics and we want to have the drugs. And our intention of the government of India's intention is to have $5 trillion economy by 2024. Is it possible? So you can imagine the number of drugs, the type of drugs which can be manufactured in India and exported. This is very, very important. So the pharma industry is going to add to the $5 trillion economy because our Prime Minister's goal, which he said on 16th of June 2019, to make $5 trillion economy. You already might have heard or seen this very interesting concept of Industry 1, Industry 2, Industry 3, Industry 4. And the Industry 4 with cyber physical systems, Internet of Things and networks and managing things sitting at home. That is what is going to happen. So one of the things which I want to pay attention to, where India needs a lot of work, is what is the source of primary energy and the consumption. You can see that we have oil, natural gas, coal, renewables, and whatnot. And as we go by, the renewable sources will increase. So you can see, but still by 2040, we'll be using coal. So what it means, nowadays, people are tying for coal to chemicals. In certain cases, they are saying crude to chemicals, C to C. So you imagine that the importance of coal or natural gas or oil is not going to be diminished. So we need clean technologies, green technologies. And this is what I'm trying to say. And there is another prediction by BP Energy. Every year in June, BP Energy produces a report. This is BP Energy Outlook, and this will be now this month. They say by 2055, we will not have any results because of the huge demand of oil. At the same time, in the month of April, we found negative price of oil. Nobody had imagined. Believe me, that industry right now is, the dollar, the barrel is about, $18 to $20. It may go next year, maybe about $40. And the industry does not become viable unless they go to something like $45, $50. So in other words, Corona has affected the industry, the sector very much. So we have some time to develop an industry, to develop sustainable energy industry. And why am I saying this? Because you look at our carbon feedstock, whether it is non-renewable fossil fuel or the renewable carbon, oil and natural gas and coal. On left hand side, I have given some of these, technologies which are used, like coal to gas and coal to liquids. On the right hand side, we have this renewable carbon, which is biomass. We can have a chemical conversion, biochemical conversion, or thermochemical conversion. And all of these can be used to convert into chemicals, materials, and energy. Very interesting. And in renewable mass, we have right from chitin to cellulose, hemicellulose, secondary metabolites, lignin, proteins, and all sorts of things. What is important here is, can we convert them into some useful products and maintain sustainability? And this is where one has to think. Because we can have biomaterials, we can have bioenergy, we can have biochemicals. Personally, I believe the carbon should not be wasted in the form of energy. Carbon should be used for chemicals, because there are many renewable new resources which are coming up, like hydrogen energy, or converting carbon dioxide either from power plants, from other sources, into chemicals like methanol, formic acid, dimethyl ether, or hydrocarbons. That is what is going to happen. So we have two types of refineries, so-called the chemical refineries, the crude oil refinery, and another is the bio refinery. And you can see that, so you go into the first set of chemicals, and then the industry is derived, and ultimately it ends up in the final products. So no matter whether you have a petroleum refinery or a biomass refinery, the fate of the carbon is carbon dioxide. In other words, we must have carbon dioxide refineries of the future, converting carbon dioxide into useful chemicals and materials. And that is what I said. So what will be the feedstock for sustainable production of chemicals, materials, or energy? Of course, carbon dioxide. Water for hydrogen, because hydrogen is the cleanest form of energy. Remember, hydrogen means carbon negative economy. When we have renewable carbon, it is carbon neutral. And if we want to bring down the temperature to 1.5 degree or less, we must go for carbon negative economy. Our other source is sunlight and catalysis, whether chemical or biocatalysis. And we can also use waste biomass to convert into materials and chemicals. So new theme is, nothing is to be treated as waste, but wealth. So the other interesting part, since I also told you that biology is going to play a very important role, and chemists did not, and should not neglect biology, we must understand human biology and the biology of other species. Are we playing God? So what are those combinations of different elements to make a cell? If you understand the structure of cell, you understand the role of DNA and the gene, then you will see that the biological sciences, right from the interesting concept of gene to DNA, in the year 1900, Mendel's work, which discovered the word gene and the concept of gene, and you go to 1953 and the Nobel Prize given to Watson, Crick, and Witkin, and Franklin Rosalind Franklin, who died unfortunately before that, the structure of DNA. So DNA has played a very important role. So we must thank Charles Darwin for taking us towards that. Or Louis Pasteur. Okay, we must thank them because they gave us the idea about principles of vaccination, microbial fermentation, and pasteurization. And we are now crying for a vaccine for 2 corona. Why? Chemistry and biology share a commonality, and that is because cells obey the laws of chemistry. So that is interesting. So the gene, what are genes made of, and all those concepts in biology, we can go into the details. The DNA, which is the molecule of the life, and now we are talking of genetic engineering. All these things are going to be very important sciences and technologies for extending life, finding new cures. So what are those challenges which we will face in future? And for very first challenge will be synthesis and manufacture of any new substance by using compact synthetic schemes and processes with high selectivity for the desired product with minimum energy consumption and benign environmental effects in the process. We must understand the chemistry of life and the living system. While another concept I talk about is selectivity engineering, understanding and controlling the reactivity of molecules over all molecular sizes and the full range of molecular sizes. Grand challenge number 6, development of medicines, vaccines, and therapies that can cure currently untreatable diseases, including COVID-19. And that is what is a scientific challenge, and India must take up this challenge. Self-assembly is a tool of synthesis. Development of self-assembly as a useful approach to the synthesis and manufacture of complex systems of materials. Understanding the complex chemistry of Earth, including land, sea, atmosphere, and biosphere, so that its livability is maintained. And we must also find out new ways of energy generation, storage, and transport. And I mentioned earlier, we should not be wasting carbon on energy. We will be using energy which is non-fossil fuel. And if you have any biological material waste, that can be converted into some materials and chemicals. So development of unlimited and inexpensive energy with new ways of generating it, storing it, and transferring it. Self-optimizing systems, the design of these chemical systems is very important. And remember, in all these processes, nature will be our guide, because nature has developed both template and a non-templated biosynthetic machinery, including the ribosome, DNA and RNA polymerases, polyketide and peptide synthesis, and metabolic enzymes to make complex molecules with diverse functions. So, what it means, chemical sciences are fun and light for luxury, comfort, and longevity. There is nothing like a pure science anymore. All boundaries have disappeared. Adaptation is the new mantra. Adaptation, and adoption is a new trinity. Chemistry continues to evolve from its historical focus on molecular structure, reactivity, and synthesis to take on the challenge of making small and large molecules and even systems of molecules with tailored properties and functions. The application of chemical principles to biological phenomena has revealed new opportunities. Growing sophistication in the methods used to produce and identify molecules that engage in distinct interaction with one or a few components of more complicated and dynamic biological milieu. So, the synthesis and chemical manufacture of any new substance, material, product by using compact processes is going to be very important. This is where green chemistry and engineering will play a very, very important role. It will revolutionize the design and chemical processes to make them compact, safe, flexible, energy efficient, environmentally benign, and conducive to the rapid commercialization of new products. And why I'm saying this? Look at our challenge, Clean India mission, and we have this garbage lying everywhere. We have innumerable problems. We want to develop smart cities. We have a mission of Ganga cleaning, Namami Gange, and our farmers are burning their agri-waste. And it is creating fog and air pollution in Delhi and around. So this is where biomass conversion to chemicals, materials, and energy to some extent will help us. So this needs new technology. Okay, so this is where the biorefinery concept, where we have three ideas: the sugar platform. So you can convert any waste biomass into sugar. You don't have to produce sugar cane or beet. That is another idea. That is C5 and C6 sugars. You can combine them to heat and power, or you have the syngas platform, which is very useful and time tested to make chemicals and materials. Since I'm a chemical engineer as well, I always show this slide showing that chemical engineering shares so many boundaries with other engineering, material science, biology, chemistry, physics, mathematics, and whatnot. So, in other words, boundaries of science and engineering have disappeared. So, the principles of prevention, atom economy, less hazardous synthesis. Remember, during this COVID, there were at least 6 different accidents in chemical industries. So that means we must have safer production facilities. We must design safer chemicals. We should avoid solvents, or even if we use solvent, they be safer, reusable. We must design energy efficient processes like sulfuric acid manufacture now is an energy process and not incidentally sulfuric acid is made there, or ammonia synthesis. Use of renewable feedstock. We must reduce derivatives. In chemistry, you are taught to derive or derivatize and go to the final molecule. Now we say reduce derivative if there is any atom or a functional group in the moiety which is not there in the final molecule, why have it there? So that way you can reduce the number of stages, you can increase energy efficiency, material efficiency. Catalysis, designed for degradation, because if the product is going to lie in atmosphere or going to be in the land or water, have you designed it from that angle? Real-time analysis for pollution prevention and inherently safer chemistry for accident prevention. These are all the so-called 12 principles of green chemistry, among which atom economy, catalysis, and use of renewable feedstock will play the most important role in future. So, ladies and gentlemen, in what it means that we will have renewables, we will use catalysis, we will have atom economy, we will always recycle things, and then we'll have a green product. So this is the complete cycle. So chemistry of the future will be interdisciplinary. So it is not what you are teaching today in your universities and colleges. You have, material science, you have physics, you have biology, you have medicine, you will have chemical biology, you will have inorganic chemistry, you will have computational chemistry, physical chemistry, environmental chemistry, analytical chemistry, and whatever you are doing in organic chemistry. Chemistry of future will be very, very interesting and livable and livable. So ladies and gentlemen, as I said, let me repeat, there is nothing like a pure science anymore. And we must understand chemistry is going to contribute to evolve its historical focus on molecular structure, reactivity, and synthesis to take on the challenges of making small and large molecules and even systems of molecules with tailored properties. This is where we will also have the concept of circular economy and not the linear economy. In the linear economy, we have all sorts of problems, including greenhouse gases, use of land, okay? But in the circular economy, we recycle everything. We reuse with everything. So from a negative loop to a positive loop, we must look at it. So waste management is going to be very, very interesting, in future. So what India should do? India should invest in science and technology heavily, at least 4% of GDP. We don't have even 0.9%. Import from China of intermediates and API should be discouraged. Green and clean technologies to reduce pollution and hazard for chemical manufacture. Chemical industry must be declared as an essential industry at all time. At the time of disaster and calamities or lockdowns, chemical industry is a consumer in itself. 70% of chemicals are never sold on the shelf. And finally, there are plenty of problems to solve by Indian science and technology. Clean water, food, increase farmers' income, remove poverty, storage of energy, and how to get energy balance for things, and how do we deal with development on an economic base. What about the health? All those problems are there. And this is where innovation is going to help us. Innovation is what drives growth, and innovation is achieved by awesome people. Many of you can do it with a shared passion for problem solving and turning ideas into realities. Companies that continuously innovate will create and reinvent new markets, products, and services and business models which will lead to more growth. So will India be a superpower? Personally, I believe India can be a superpower, and together we can do it. Thank you very much for your patient listening. And if you have any questions, I'll be very happy to answer them. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Yadav sir, for your benign presence in this session and enlightening all the participants by your excellent lecture. Most of the participants sent the message that they find this lecture very fruitful. So, sir, we are very much thankful to you that you spared some of your valuable time in spite of your busy schedule, and especially today, as you informed that a storm is going to strike at Mumbai. So, I hope that everything will be fine, and you spared this time, sir. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you. Thank you, it was my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure, sir. Thank you. Friends, now this is the time to listen our second invited lecture, and he is Professor Nishit Desai, and I personally know Professor Desai for last 2 decades, and I found him a most sincere researcher, academician, scientist. Whenever you wish to meet a person who is giving 100% to his work, you can meet to Professor Desai. So before Professor Desai starts his invited lecture, I would like to have his brief biodata among you. Professor Nishit C. Desai, he is the former senior professor and presently BRS faculty fellow, UGC New Delhi at Department of Chemistry, Bhavnagar University, Bhavnagar, Gujarat. Professor N.C. Desai has a vast experience of 35 years of teaching, research, and deeper understanding of fundamental in chemical sciences. He is well known in the field of organic synthesis, green chemistry, catalysis, and medicinal chemistry. He is actively involved in organizing awareness programs on intellectual property rights and entrepreneurship for its management in academic institutes. His research group focuses on synthesis, characterization, and biological screening of heterocyclic compounds for antibacterial, antifungal, anti-HIV, anti-cancer, anti-TB agents. Till date, the group has published more than 150 research papers in national and international repute. The research group has synthesized more than 5,000 molecules based on heterocyclic compounds. Since last 5 years, Professor Desai has received projects of worth rupees 1.25 crore from various funding agencies like MOEs, UGC, CSIR, and BRNS, and all the projects were completed successfully. He has filed 3 Indian patents for development of quinolone antibacterial, recipient of Career Award Young Scientist by UGC visited College of Pharmacy, Harvard University, Washington. With these words, I now request Professor Desai sir to deliver his invited lecture. Professor Desai sir. Professor Desai sir. I request Professor Nishit Desai sir to unmute the icon of audio as well as video. Professor Desai sir. Please unmute the icon. You are all friends, I hope that till Professor Desai joined this lecture, I feel that the participants have find this lecture very fruitful, and after the completion of second invited lecture, there will be a link given in the text message which you can fill and submit, so that these certificates will be sent to your email ID. Now I request Professor Desai sir to deliver his invited lecture, sir.
जो विंडो है वहाँ चले जाओ या कहाँ चले जाओ?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can listen you. Yeah. Please, sir.
अच्छा.
Professor Desai sir.
Presentation दिखाई
Professor
पड़ता है?
Desai sir. You will start your presentation is not there. Presentation. वो presentation का चाह रहे हैं. बात कर ले, फोन चालू है.
नहीं तो presentation now में चला जाओ.
Just a minute. The IT person is talking to you.
Okay.
नहीं ये फोन से बात करो ना. तो वापस लगा कि उनको रमेश जी को दे दो ताकि वो.
प्रोफेसर देसाई सर. Sir, are you using laptop or mobile? Then now? Should I go to present now? Yes, we can hear you, sir. Yeah. What are you using? You are using laptop? Then now? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Then now? I go to a window लिख दो. वहाँ से करो.
और सर हाँ सर समय निकल गया पता नहीं चला. समय ऐसा निकला पता नहीं चला.
Yes, now it is. You can see the presentation. You can see the presentation.
अभी आया था presentation.
You can see the presentation. No?
बात करें सर.
You can see the presentation now.
Yes. वो उनाद पंडित जी के उस पे आ रहा है. उनाद पंडित जी के वहाँ अलग आइटम पे आ रहा है. हाँ उन पे आ रहा है. देखो. Your presentation is coming on Unad Pandit icon, sir.
You will open it.
Fine, sir. Fine. Presentation is there. You can start, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
At the very outset, I would like. So can you listen me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, at the very outset, I would like to express my thanks to Dr. Rakshita Mehta, who has provided me share my views on the important topic of self-help in India. Also, thank you to the President of Indian Chemical Society. He is my friend and he has taken the visit to my department. Also, thanks to Professor S.C. Mehta and the D.C. Mukherjee and Honorable Vice Chancellor of this university for arranging a wonderful seminar. The first slide itself indicates that if you are interested to become a self-reliant, what are the factors and how to make it self-reliant. So this is what this is very important for our topic. And now you can see that science. Now you will find that we are sailing in same boat like USA or even Bangladesh or the entire health system is collapsed, entire economy of the world is collapsed. So these circumstances, now we have to really define the science and technology. This is how today important. Honorable Prime Minister yesterday given the 5 points in the CIA meeting. So that also we are also going to discuss this particular aspect. So let's next one. Now, our country is celebrating the Gandhi 150, and I am a disciple of Gandhi, and therefore, see, when I start my presentation, I will always start with the Gandhi. As you know, that the first slogan was given by Gandhi.
Professor Desai, sir, sorry to disturb you. Can you use earphone along with your laptop?
Yeah, I don't have earphone.
Okay, because the sound is little bit.
1 minute. Okay. Band अच्छा video तो. Now, the Gandhi has given the slogan of Atmanirbhar, and Gandhi has given the slogan of Swadeshi. Now this, he has made the charkha, and this charkha has made the, completely changed the revolution, completely changed the economy of our country. These two renowned scientists have used their, charkha in their scientific invention, and this is how Gandhi was the first person who has given this slogan to our country. Gandhi has given the slogan to our country, looking to the rural development and looking to the rural, population of our country. Next one. Next slide. Next one. So, G.D. Yadav has also mentioned about the pandemic. You can find it before 102 years. You can find it this, and during that time, I think large number of people that died. I have this particular foot. The reason is that we are using this this type of bads and this type of design is not which is not proper, because this type of design was used before 100 years. Now even in Mumbai and Metro City, large bombs are there, and patients are also sitting under these circumstances. And every pandemic, we got the lesson, we learned the lesson. On the basis of this lesson, we made the science. Next. So, this is the journey of the, politics, and you will find that right now we are finding a lot of problems with respiratory diseases. The government should also give the focus on the research of this respiratory disease like, swine flu, SARS, Ebola, MERS, and recently COVID-19. So this is how, this is a journey of, pandemics, and that was started in 165 and 19. Yadav has also taken this particular, journey in his lecture. So this is how I have given the lecture so that one can get the idea about this particular. Next. So I have never seen such a situation. It has made impact our life. Or they are saying in the USA or in our country, you can find it. We have never seen such of the airport, railway, or road, or even city. And you can find it because of the lockdown. We have now cleaner atmosphere, cleaner energy, etc. So this is most important impact of COVID. And same thing is happening in case of our country, other country. Next. Yeah. So COVID has COVID has affected the economy of our entire globe. You can find it. Economy is collapsed. Several problems on unemployment. So this is problem due to the coronavirus. Epidemics of coronavirus work. Funding of and trials. Financial market, widespread liquidity shortage, large issue of some financial institute. Because of the problem in economy, the Honorable Prime Minister has declared the 20 lakh crore of the financial assistance to the entire country and the economy of our country. And this is how you can find it. Government has a lot of incentives for industries and at large of the society. Next. Now, the Prime Minister has given the 5-point program for the Atmanirbhar Bharat. This particular slide is, to be a horoscope of my presentation. As you know that, what we require, the economy infrastructure system. When we talk about the system, so technology system is very, very important as far as the, development of and all these 5 pillars are very, very important. And how that is also very important. So with the help of technology innovations and this is the 4th pillar: data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. So if we focus on this aspect, I think probably we can not find any problem. Go to the Atmanirbhar Bharat. Now, as you know that even you can see that the whole, whole slide is a horoscope. Now, as you know that Donald Trump is also using same type, and Jupiter, or even they are using same type of Jupiter. But before any idea about this technology, that's the reason that now, if you want to live with virus, then all these technologies are very, very important. And with the help of this technology, one can get the idea about virus. And the positive effect of lockdown is also spend the time family, etc. Now slowly and slowly unlock has also started. So if you're interested to live with the virus, then all these technologies are very important. And if you follow the then I don't think you'll find any problem. Live with the virus. It's not so difficult to live with the virus. Next. So my presentation is based on this particular paper. Now, as you know that it is very difficult to publish the paper in very small signs. The authors have published sanitizer, drugs, and you can see that a sanitizer is an integral part of life and drugs and this. All chemical society will play a major role. And with the help of this program, we can contribute.
Professor, sorry to interrupt you. If you are having mobile with you, if you just put it some other place, there may be a sound clarity. We'll face it.
Pardon? Now, any problem?
Sound is not clear, sir. If you are having mobile with you, sir, if you can put your mobile some other place, there will be clarity maybe there.
Okay, fine, no problem, right?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Now, I will not find any problem. Next. So, people will ask me that what is the role of sanitizer and how, sanitizer will, kill the virus. So, the very science involved, very simple science is that this is a virus, virus, and, soap as a hydrophobic and hydrophilic repellent. When you wash your hand, it will completely scrap the virus, and this is how from measles you can find that the virus is completely collapsed. That's the reason that the constant handshake, constant use of sanitizer is very, very important for to live with virus, and this is how the sanitizer will be useful. As you know that now next coming year there will be a huge, huge importance of sanitizer, and the huge benefit of huge market of sanitizer in the entire world. Before somebody tell about what we have a huge market of water, but now a huge market of sanitizer. So this is how sanitizers, simple science. Now science is very important, and with simple science we can avoid infections of this virus. Now, what are the challenges? All the whenever you can find any pandemic, there are challenges. There are challenges, there is opportunity. So try to understand challenge, and once we get the idea about the challenge, then we can get the idea about the opportunities. And once we get the opportunity, there is a lot of innovations, especially in this particular, my present going to discuss about the healthcare and pharma industries. Because right now, we are interested, or we are in the need of new and new innovations in health industries and social industries. This is how I'm going to focus on the health industries and pharma industries. How we can challenge from China. You can see that health system is perhaps developed and undeveloped and third world countries. Entire globe, you can find that the health system is perhaps no specific in it. We do not have any medicines. Every day, new and new, inventions are. One you can listen that chloroquine is useful, and next morning you can find that it is not useful like that. So under these circumstances, you can find that there is no medicine for the treatment of COVID. And it is difficult to stop infections one to one. This is very, very dangerous. This is the reason we have to find infections from human to human. Shortage of medicine and shortage of medical and paramedical staff. You can find it in our country everywhere. You can find a shortage of medical and paramedical staff for the treatment of virus. Shortage of PPE. Now we are in a comfortable position for PPE, shortage of rapid detection kits. So all these are the challenges, and once we get the idea about the challenges, then one can get the idea about the development. Now what
presentation award
there are so many opportunities to develop the digital technology, online teaching, e-learning, examination. Dr. C.D. Yadav has also mentioned that there must be some sort of new syllabus at university. Under these circumstances, digital technology, online teaching, e-content, and all are very, very important. So there is a new opportunities to develop this particular area. Then digital platform for maintenance of the digital of COVID patients. So government has government already developed Arogya Setu app. I am also going to discuss this. Biodegradable mask. So this is very, very important. Now we require biodegradable. As you know that because of the HIV, we are using the disposable things, the screen and the blood. But now what we require the biodegradable mask and so please biodegradable mask, and especially in the rainy season, what we require waterproof mask and personal protective equipment for medical and paramedical professionals. Cost and supply of ventilators. This is also very important right now. We have got a problem of ventilators and kits, vaccine isolation ward for corona patients, and then fulfillment of dynamic demand and supply of PPE and care and the medicine. So these are the opportunities where we can to self-reliance our country. So we have seen the we have seen the challenges, we have seen the opportunities. Now we should go remedies of that particular problem. Next. So government has set up a very good Arogya Setu app. With the help of this app, one can get the immediate idea about corona patient. Even if you are unknown and if you install this particular app in your mobile phone, then definitely you can get the correct information regarding the corona patient, red zone, orange zone, green zone. So I personally feel that each and every person should have a this Arogya Setu app so that you can get it. When you go to the crowd, if some corona patient is there, immediately you can get the idea, you can get information that there is some corona patient is moving around or roaming around. So this is how government has done a wonderful work with the help of information technology. Next. Now, how to make Atmanirbhar Bharat? For the first time, we have seen such initiation from the public institutes, CSIR, IITs, JNU, like that. So for the first time, we have seen that our world-class institutes, the challenge like that, CSIR, IITs, JNU, like that. So this is how you can find that our institute, university has the challenge. How to be Atma Bharat next? Next. Now, first time the BGCSR has given the mandate to all the CSR labs. Like in Bhavnagar, we have a Central Salt and Marine Chemical Research Institute. So the mandate of CSR has given biodegradable. Similarly, all the CSR, this is the first time we have seen this. So Corona has made completely different approach scientific community as per the CSR labs or other things. Many CSR institutes, public and private sector, and trying to find out the problems of corona and health problems. Next. Now CSR has given the 5-pronged approach, that is surveillance and digital marketing, diagnostic, testing, development, and repurposing of drug, because this is very, very important. Supply chain for the various products. So CSR taken the for the first time I have seen that CSR very good initiative like that. CSR labs new strategy to fight Corona-19. So Corona has made the tremendous impact of our scientific community. This is how this slide will give the clear criteria that we are capable enough to fight and take up this challenge. Next. Actually, this is the finest example of Atma Bharat. That Alumni has launched the bus. This bus is one of the finest approach taken by the IIT Alumni. You can find it 5 million tests per month. So you can see that all kind of instruments are available in this bus, and this bus even can go to the remote area, and this is how it is considered via Atma Bharat. And this is one of the finest, initiatives taken by the IIT alumni, and therefore, I personally feel that, we should also give the, appreciate this particular approach. Next. 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 Yeah. So you can find that, the cost of testing by over 80% without compromising. So this particular, bus is a, wonderful, wonderful aspects. Onboard genetic testing, AI-based technology, and contactless sample collections, indigenous technology stack, and wireless robotic ultrasound lung probe, low dosage digital X-ray, etc. So all these particular facilities. All this.
તમારા વ્યુઅર્સને સંભળાતું નથી સર.
તો લાવ ના આમાં કઈ રીતે કરશું?
એક મિનિટ બંધ કરો એમને કોને 2 મિનિટ આપો.
Please, can you give me next. Next.
Hello. Yes, sir. Rakshit here.
You listen me?
Yeah, sir. We can listen.
Listen, brother. Listen me, na? Okay.
Yeah, if you have earplugs, then it will be better.
Next. Leila, unat na phone se join. Next. Next. Such you. Leila.
ડિસ્ટર્બન્સ બહુ આવે
Leila,
મારા અવાજમાં.
મત ઈ બંધ કર દે આમાંથી Leila. તો પણ બહાર જવું પડશે ને. By the Indian company. So you can find that India is considered to be a powerful powerhouse of the.
બંધ થઈ ગયું. ઉન્નતભાઈનો ફોન હતો કે કાંઈ સંભળાતું નહોતું.
Okay, હવે આવી
એટલે હું
ગયું? હવે આવી ગયું?
હા, મને પૂછી જો ને.
Now you can listen me. You listen me. You listen me.
એક મિનિટ ઉભા રહો.
નીકળી ગયા આપણે બહાર તો હવે શું કરશું?
હવે આવ્યું.
Hello.
હા.
Sir, આવી ગયું.
Hello.
So India is a powerhouse of innovation. Yes, you can listen me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, India is a powerhouse of innovations. The PCR platform, and IIT has developed portable ventilator. Pune-based MyLab company has, developed the COVID-19 test. This is how we find that, because a lot of new companies are coming and are, putting up their innovations with a lot, because, the country like India, where cost is also very, very important. Next one. Yeah. So now you can find that, even in the we are also seeing smart ventilator development, disinfections development, sanitizer development, mask protective equipment, software and infections on CT scan and X-ray. Then we are also enough to develop development and other. Next. We also focus on passive development. Six companies are working on the development of, and still we are waiting, and we are a little bit hopeful for this vaccine. So I'm very happy to tell you that our Indian company has focused on the vaccine development. Previously, we never even thought about that. So we are also involved in the race on the development of vaccine. Next. Now, as you know that Dr. Yadav said that it is difficult to develop the vaccine within a short period, and that is the reason that repurposing of drug has already started. Since the inception of COVID, lot of scientific community are working on reproducing a drug. So remdesivir is very, very important example, and another history. All these drugs are very important. Remdesivir, I think maybe for Indian government has given the approval for the treatment of remdesivir. So all these, drugs, our Indian company, they are able to manufacture this particular drug. This is how, we can be proud that, this company, Julian Life Science, Cipla, Lab, My Lab, Lab, all they have started, manufacturing this particular drug. Next. As you know that there is a lot of infection, human infection, and that is the reason that now artificial intelligence and robot will play a major role in the next year to combat the corona. That is the reason that artificial intelligence is very, very important. And also very important. As we have seen in case of airport, you can find a minimum involvement of human. This is how you can now technology or COVID has made tremendous threat. As I already said, due to the HIV infection, now we are using the disposable syringe and disposable blood products, etc. So this is how robot and artificial intelligence will be the next technology of next coming 5 to 10 years in the entire world. And in this particular things, our Indian hospital is also used. So Delhi-based IMS has also used the robot for collecting the human blood, and Bangalore companies also started to use the robot in hospital. So this is our Indian company, Indian hospital. In their mindset to use this particular technology. So here will play a major. Technology is very important because of the COVID. You can find that will be the next technology, artificial intelligence, robot. Because of the robots, you can find it the job problem. But then we have to find out other alternative to focus on rural technology so that you will not have any problem. This is next one. Now you can find this is the intelligence and intelligence is to learn and make decisions without human involvement. I've already made it very clear in the previous slide. Computer vision, sensor fusion, learning of elimination, the need of software, etc. So we have to be focused on this particular technology. Next. Yeah. See, I have already made it clear that at present the repurposed drugs is very, very important as far as coronavirus is. We do not have time to introduce new drugs because it will take a long time to pass from several tests, etc. Therefore, 90 drugs are under construction in the form of repurposed drugs. All these drugs are under by our Indian company. This is one of the finest initiatives by the CSL lab, Indian company, etc. Next. Now, we have a lot of problems for pharma industry. So the challenge from China pharma industry is very important. You can find, on my right, India is 7% of API by the value of from China. Now, we have to focus on API. You can see that the cardiovascular diabetes, antibiotics, all that. Under these circumstances, now we have to be very much careful on pharma industries, and that is the reason that India can contribute 20% of global demand, 6% of global demand of various vaccine and antiviral drugs. The world not just on the value of particular mediate. So pharma industry is one of the place, one of the best platform compared to China, and we can make the Atma Bharat Nirbhar for building up the rejuvenant pharmaceutical glory of our country. Next. Now you can see on my right, API sector can be a global leader if all the stakeholders come together. Now all the stakeholders should come together and have one here we can focus on themes and improving ease of innovation, development, and pharmaceutical. So we have to be very much careful, and we have to clear the, we have to establish the one pharma park, and we have to develop each and every faculty. Then we have shown program that single window clearance for establishing the API manufacturing unit in India. The units are interested to India, but we have a administrative problem, and that's the reason that we have to be very much careful. Priority governmental clearance of API with the definite timeline, etc. We have a short-term vision and we have a long-term vision. So these are the few points on the base of vision. Next. So, Indian pharma, has 60 global vaccine, medicines, 27 of AIDS medicine, highest number of US FDA plants in the country. So, long term in academia, incentives for technology, modernization, adoption, the green technology. This is what Dr. Yadav has mentioned. Integrated clusters, pharma, common infrastructure. This is very important. So we should have a common infrastructure facility like plant test, plants, boiler. These are the long. So in the previous slide, we have seen the long short term strategy. Here it's long. So if you have said, we have to be focused on pharma industries because pharma industry is directly related to health system. This is, Atmanirbhar, but pharma is also, for next. So you find that the 6 manufacturing kits, you can find that large number of companies are capable enough to manufacture the testing kit because testing is very important. So several companies come up with testing methods and new testing kits. In the pharma, in the corona time, we've seen that testing was a problem. Today, is a problem. It is opportunities for pharma and biotech industries for manufacturing the new testing methodology and testing kits. Next. Next. This is one of the finest examples. We have never seen such type of picture in the past. For countries enough to take any challenge. Now the country already started the airlines and with a mask. You can find that steel etc. So our India, our country is capable enough to challenge. The flight is already started. Now you can find the minimum human involvement in this. We don't need big 6 months. If somebody tells, we never imagine about this particular type of picture. I'm sure that our country is capable enough to take up any challenge, even or any other infections. I'm sure that country will take any challenge next. We have never seen such type of picture in the railway station. You can see that when you enter in the railway, you can find that it is checked by the. You can find the doctors are available. It is checked by thermal gun, and then the social distancing. No single patient is available with this person. So we never thought all this challenge. It was by coronavirus, and our country is already taken up, and our country will be an excellent model for other developed countries to maintain this type of situation in railway and next. Next. So, and like is devoted to health workers and corona warriors for their commitment in corona pandemic. And you can find that this is the tutorial or this is part of the corona virus. Next. I'm very much thankful to my 2 students. One, Dr. Pandit, he was working as a right now. He is working in JH Lab University and another is Dr. Padekar. So give me a very good feedback for the preparation of this presentation. I'm not in a position to make this beautiful presentation. So I'm very much, once again, I'm very much thankful to Dr. Mehta, who has provided me an opportunity. Dr. J. Yadav is the president of this Indian Chemical Society, Honorable Vice Chancellor, and Professor S. C. Amandi. Very much thankful. Thank you very much for giving me.
Thank you very much, Professor Desai sir, for your excellent talk. And the presentation was really very good. Of course, I feel that participants have faced the little problem of audio, but due to some technical problem, these problems are normally faced by us sometimes. I would like to mention a quote here that in the absence of a real guru, Eklavya was trained in such a manner that he was better than Arjuna. So similarly, if we participants are interested to gain something from the speaker, the little disturbance in audio is not a matter. The presentation was there to watch, and it was really a wonderful experience to listen this lecture. So once again, I thank Professor Desai sir for this lecture, which was very fruitful for the audience. Now we are going towards the end of the webinar, and I request Professor C.R. Sinha sir to give vote of thanks. Professor Chitranjan Sinha sir, for vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's okay?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Please, please. Please, sir. Yes.
It is hearing. Okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So
Please continue, sir.
This is in fact a new opportunity to us, particularly for the people of Indian society, to collaborate JRN Rajasthan Vidyapeeth, the Department of Chemistry and the organizing this webinar program. And this program had in the inaugural session, Professor S. C. Mehta, who is one of the veteran chemists of the country and also the former president of the Indian Chemical Society, and Professor D.C. Mukherjee, who is now advisor and the former president of Indian Chemical Society. And I am very much fortunate that our present president, Professor Yadav, and I am looking him after a long 3-4 months back I saw him, and today I am looking him on my telephone. He is also laughing. That is in fact a addition to me. And in fact, this lecture on science and technology for developing self-dependent India. If you talk about self-dependent India, the first company, it has been established by Acharya Prafulla Chandra Rai in the British period in 1902. That is the Bengal Chemical and Pharmaceutical Works Limited. This is under a deep trouble. Although it is produced this hydroxychloroquine, which is now demanding in the market for the COVID treatment. So this is a self-reliance India or self-dependent India. This is the first example, I think, and we are fortunate at the Indian Chemical Society that under the banner of Chemical Society and Acharya Prafulla Chandra Rai's blessings, today's program is organized by Professor Rokhida Mehta. So I must thank first Professor Ahmed for organizing, bringing about 300 audience under the webinar platform to listen the very much illustrative seminar by Professor Yadav and Professor Desai. And Professor Yadav talked about the carbon economy and carbon energy, and it is very wonderful that he is talking about the use of carbon in chemicals, not in energy. Hydrogen will be the energy element, while carbon will be the elements which will be useful for the betterment of the society. Today, the self-dependent India, rather India superpower, I have a doubt about the superpower, rather whatever may be the power of superpower. India could take the leadership in the world to tackle this corona. And Professor Desai also also narrated that India is now making or the preparing very low cost COVID testing equipment, as well as there is a COVID testing bus. That is very new addition, and it is wonderful, particularly in the mega city like Kolkata, that a huge number of COVID patients or the corona, asymptomatic or symptomatic corona is coming. So I think it is in fact that is the today's seminar platform may request to the government so that they may send such type of buses to each mega city, Bombay, Bangalore, Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, and so on. So that a huge number of patients that our countrymen will be saved. But the problem is that although we are talking about our power, but how the India will be going to the superpower with huge number of unemployment. And this NSSO data shows that it is the highest in the last 45 years. Today's unemployment, it is a 45 years highest data. Besides, if you go to the fund which has been unused, or the fund at the corruption, that is the corruption in our Indian politics as well as Indian society. If you think about the banks, more than 6,60,000 crores of rupees, they are not being unpaid by the Indian giants in industry. And if you talk about this poverty is increased by few years. It is increased by 25%. And in the world's poverty index, we are going down. In 2011, we are in 102, and now it is 117. Besides the world's happiness index, in the happiness index, in 2013, we are in 117 out of 153 countries. Now we are in 140. That is, we are going down, down, down. So being a superpower, we may be superpower, but we have to proceed with our countrymen. So these are the challenges to the scientists as well as the persons, those are governing the institutions as well as the country. See, last few years, I personally have one project, but the last 1.5 years, I am not getting any fund. Although it is a sanctioned fund. My students, they are not getting fund from the government for the last 1 year. Then how you imagine the science, technology of the country will proceed? And Professor Jadhav has demanded, that is the right demand, that 4% of GDP should be invested in science and technology. Just to think about a very small country like Cuba. Cuba is now a superpower in health, and it is serving the whole Italy. And in Italy, there is the medical personality are not available from this country. Cuba is saving this country. So this is the good, right time for the investment of science and technology by the government as well as, and this is in fact this platform, a huge number of audience as well as the persons like Professor Jadhav, Professor Desai, Professor Rameta, Professor Mukherjee are there. So I think it is the right time to give a motive or direction towards our running government for the Atmanirbhar. Atmanirbharata does not mean only making some bombs. Atmanirbharata will with the people of the 139 crores of the people of the country. If you look into the migrants, in my own country, we are migrants. In my own country, some of our friends are migrants. So the meaning of migrants is really, it is shameful to us. One of our friends who is coming from Bombay to Kolkata, since he is migrant labor. So that has to be addressed to make my country a superpower. So friends, It is in fact a good opportunity, particularly to Indian Chemical Society under this COVID situation, since we are not being able to organize seminars by physical contact. If this non-contact mode seminar may be one of the important pathway, and our president sir advised us to publish one special issue of the Journal of Indian Chemical Society on the corona. So we will do it. We will do it timely, and I will discuss it in our meeting also. And many of the audiences are here. I must request them to be a member of the Indian Chemical Society and to approach towards the society with the fragile and frugal health of Acharya Prafullo Chandra Rai. So our health may be very frugal, but our destination, our objective towards the goal of the whole humanity. But Professor Mukherjee initially talked about the survival of the whole humanity. So India can give an opportunity or can show the whole universe that at this pandemic situation to give some idea or some health suggestion so that the whole world may be benefited. So I must thank all the audiences as well as the participants and the organizers, particularly Professor Rameka and the Vice Chancellor of this university, Professor S.S. Sarandevat, and the speakers, Professor Jadhav and Professor Desai, and the father figure, Professor S.C. Amita is there, and our advisor and the former President of Indian Chemical Society, Professor B.C. Mukherjee. Thank you for giving this opportunity and for the new paradigm of this non-contact mode of seminar. Thank you, Professor Jadhav.
Thank you, Professor Sinha sir, for your kind words.
Thank you.
I convey my sincere thanks to all the participants for their kind patience during this webinar. I also thank each and everyone involved in this webinar for its successful organization, especially our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Colonel S.S. Sarandevat sir, our two eminent speakers, Professor Yadav sir, Professor Desai sir, our guest of honor, Professor S.C. Ameta sir, and Professor B.C. Mukherjee sir, and special guest, Professor C.R. Sinha sir. And along with these eminent guests, I would also like to thank to Dr. Tarun Shimali and Dr. Chandresh Chatlani and Shri Jitendra ji for their technical support for successful completion of this webinar. All the best to all of you. Please take care of yourself and your family members. Hope the situation will be fine soon, and we'll meet on some another occasion in a meeting of August gathering at our university in future. Thank you once again. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.